Today's sponsor is Quarantine. Cheers, guys. You ready?
It's going.
Cool. And we're back. So we are making cocktails out of our pantry, and I want to show you something to do if you don't have a lot of citrus fruit and how you can kind of stretch that. One of my favorite things is to use some other acidic component and make a blended drink, which is really fun to do at home. You can kind of pick whatever stuff you have. So I've juiced 1 lemon. So we'll just go ahead and measure it out and see. We have less than 1.5 ounces in the shot glass. And what we're gonna do is, I have a really lovely girlfriend that started making kombucha at home.
Oh my god.
And we are going to use some of that kombucha. I pulled out right here, this one has passion fruit and coriander, and this one is tangerine and shiso. We're just gonna use a little bit of both. Sometimes for these, I just go ahead and pour in, don't measure a ton. But for this, we'll just go ahead and use about the same amount as we used of lemon juice. Now obviously with kombucha, it really depends on exactly how sweet and how tart they are. These ones are on the tart side, so we won't need to boost them with any sort of other acidic component. However, if yours were a little bit sweeter, you might need to use another acid. If you don't have kombucha on hand, or you didn't want to go get any, there's a few other options you have. One of my favorites is if you have any white balsalmic vinegar. You don't need a ton of this because it's super acidic and it's very powerful, but if you were to use about 1/2 ounce of this, you'd have plenty of acid to make a balanced cocktail. If you wanted to try some other ones, you can also use a couple different kinds of white wine vinegars as well. And again, just depending on the acidity of those, you want to judge how much you're adding. Now, if you don't love vinegar, there could be some other ways, but those are really some of my go-to acids to add to cocktails. Now, you probably want to add a little bit of sweetener, depending on what else you're going to add in the cocktail. I'm not going to add any simple syrup. I'm actually going to take a little bit of this aged sherry that has some sweetness to it, which helps to bring some of the other fruit notes out. And then we always keep a little bit of frozen fruit in our freezer. So I'm just going to take this, just some tropical fruit. So we have like strawberries, mangoes, pineapples. I'm going to take a couple of the mango strawberries out and add those in. You could pretty much use whatever fruit you have, if it's something like tropical, fresh, fruity. And then if you have any fresh herbs growing, we happen to have this nice little bit of micro basil. Regular basil would work, mint, parsley, shiso, whatever you grow in your house. If you grow anything, go ahead and throw it in. If you don't grow anything, not a big deal. Usually if you're using some sort of like lighter vinegars, lighter spirits are going to work really well. If you're using darker vinegars, if you have like a balsamic vinegar, red wine vinegar, you can maybe lend yourself towards some darker spirits. But typically for these kind of cocktails, lighter spirits work best. So we're gonna use about twice as much of each of these as we used the kombucha. This is a light rum, this is a Pisco. And then you have the option. If you want to make this actually a frozen drink, go ahead and throw all of the ice in right now. We're not going to actually make a frozen drink, so we're going to just blend this without adding any ice first to incorporate the fruit. And now we're going to add just a little bit of ice in the top. And we're not going to blend it on high so that it freezes the cocktail. We're just going to blend it enough so that it shows everything. Cool. So it might not be the easiest thing to drink right now because it has all of the fruit. So if you happen to have a straw that has a filter in the bottom, like a bombilla, that would be ideal for this situation. You probably don't because you're at home, and it's probably not too much of an issue. Just go ahead and pour it out. I would recommend drinking with a straw, but if you don't have one, not a big deal. Cheers, everyone.